Have you ever looked at a button or a weird piece of plastic in your car and wondered what it actually does only to just ignore it for years? You are definitely not alone in this. The truth is, automakers pack modern vehicles with incredibly clever engineering tricks, but they do a terrible job of actually telling the customer about them. Some of these hidden features are just for your daily comfort, but a few of them can literally save you from a massive mechanic bill or a highly dangerous situation on the highway. Today, we are tearing into the secret features your car has right now that you probably never even notice. Let us start with something that happens every time you pull up to the gas station. You are driving a rental car or maybe a friend's truck. You pull up to the pump and you suddenly realize you have no idea which side the gas tank is on. So you hang your head out the window or physically get out to check. It is embarrassing, but almost everyone has done it at least once. Look straight at your fuel gauge right now. Right next to the little gas pump icon, there is a tiny arrow pointing to the left or to the right. That simple arrow tells you exactly which side your fuel door is on. It has been an industry standard for decades, yet half the drivers on the road still play the guessing game at the pumps. And speaking of fueling up, once you open that door and unscrew the gas cap, what do you usually do with it? If you are letting it dangle against the side of your car, you are actively scratching your clear coat. If you are resting it on the trunk lid, you are eventually going to forget it and drive off. Look at the inside of the fuel door. There is almost always a little plastic hook, a slot, or a specifically designed notch made to hold the gas cap while you pump. Letting the cap dangle can damage the rubber tether, and if dirt gets on the cap threads and falls into your tank, you are looking at clogged fuel injectors. That is a heavy repair bill, just because you did not use a piece of plastic designed to hold the cap safely out of the way. Now imagine this absolute nightmare scenario. You are stuck in the middle of a busy intersection, your engine dies, and your battery is completely flat. You need to push the car out of the way of traffic, but you cannot shift your automatic transmission out of park. Without battery power, the electronic shift interlock keeps you completely hostage. But before you panic and wait for a tow truck to drag your locked tires across the asphalt, look right next to your gear shifter console. You will see a tiny plastic square or a small slotted cover. That is the emergency shift lock release. Just pop that little cover off with a flathead screwdriver or your physical car key, press the button hidden underneath, and you can freely shift the car into neutral without a single drop of electrical power. It is a mandatory safety feature that can get you out of a dangerous traffic bottleneck in seconds, yet most people do not know it exists until they are already blocking 2 lanes of angry commuters. Speaking of dead batteries, what happens when the battery in your key fob dies? You are standing in a dark parking lot, pressing unlock over and over, and nothing happens. Do not call a locksmith just yet. Flip your key fob over. There is a small switch or a slide release on the back. Move it and a traditional, physical metal key will slide right out of the plastic housing. Automakers know electronic batteries die, so they always include a mechanical backup. You might be looking at your car door thinking there is no keyhole, but there is. It is usually hidden underneath a small plastic cap at the rear end of the driver's side door handle. Just pop that cap off, insert the key, and you are inside. But your key fob has another trick up its sleeve that is absolutely perfect for those brutally hot summer days. When your car has been baking in the sun and the interior temperatures reach well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it feels like stepping into an oven. Do not just open the door and take that blast of hot air to the face. On a massive amount of modern vehicles, if you press the unlock button on the fob, release it, and then press and hold it down a second time, all of the windows will automatically roll down and the sunroof will slide open. It vents all that trapped, suffocating heat before you even reach the door handle. It is a brilliant comfort feature that dealers almost never mention on the test drive. Hey, if you are enjoying these automotive secrets and want to keep your car running smooth while saving yourself some serious headaches, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. We share practical, no-nonsense car knowledge, and having you in the community means a lot. Now, let us get back to the hidden tricks. Have you ever been stuck in dense traffic behind an old, poorly tuned diesel truck blowing thick black soot right into your windshield? Your immediate reaction is probably to hold your breath, but you should be reaching for the air recirculation button on your climate control panel. It is the button with a little car outline and a U-shaped arrow inside it. Most people think this is just to make the air conditioning blow colder, which it definitely does, but its primary job is actually acting as a cabin isolation shield. When you press it, a physical flap closes inside your dashboard, stopping all outside air from entering the vehicle. It instantly cuts off exhaust fumes, skunk smells, and highway dust from getting into your lungs. Plus, using this feature prevents your expensive cabin air filter from sucking up all that heavy road grime, meaning you will not have to replace the filter nearly as often. Let us talk about a button that actually scares a lot of drivers. The traction control button, usually depicted as a car with squiggly slip lines behind it. You know it keeps you safe on icy or wet roads by cutting engine power and applying the brakes if the wheels start to spin. But there is a very specific reason the engineers give you a button to turn it off. If you ever get hopelessly stuck in deep snow, thick mud, or soft sand, the traction control system will completely paralyze your vehicle. As soon as you step on the gas to power your way out, the computer senses the slip and cuts all your engine power. You just sit there, hopelessly bogged down. In these specific recovery situations, you actually need wheel speed and forward momentum to dig through the loose surface and grab solid ground underneath. Turn the system off, power your way out of the rut, and then immediately turn it back on once you are safely back on solid pavement. Knowing when to defeat the computer is just as important as knowing how it protects you. While we are on the topic of defeating computers, let us address the most annoying sound in modern motoring, the aggressive, high-pitched beeping of the lane departure warning system. Look, the system means well, but when you are driving on a narrow country road, avoiding a massive pothole, or giving a cyclist some extra room, your car throws an absolute panic attack because you touched the painted line. It is infuriating. But you do not have to live with the constant robotic nagging. There is almost always a dedicated button on the steering wheel or the left side of the dashboard that looks like a car drifting out of a lane. Press and hold that button for a few seconds. The system will disengage, and you can finally drive in peace without your dashboard treating you like a student driver. Some cars bury this setting in the infotainment menu, but digging through the screen to turn it off is worth every second for your daily sanity. Night driving has gotten genuinely painful lately, with everyone running ultra-bright LED headlights. When a lifted truck pulls up close behind you, the reflection in your rearview mirror is completely blinding. It is not just annoying, it ruins your night vision and creates a serious safety hazard. If your car does not have auto-dimming mirrors, look right at the bottom edge of your rearview mirror. There is a small plastic tab hanging down. Flip that tab towards you. It changes the physical angle of the glass inside the mirror housing. You will still be able to see the headlights of the car behind you, but the harsh, blinding glare is completely deflected away from your eyes. It is old-school mechanical engineering. It has been around for decades, yet a shocking amount of people suffer through blinding commutes because they never bothered to flick that little switch. Another visibility issue happens right at sunset. You are driving west, the sun is incredibly low, and it is beaming right through the upper corner of your driver's side window. You unclip the sun visor and swing it over to the side, but it is just a few inches too short, and the sun is basically burning a hole in your vision. Do not just accept defeat. Grab the sun visor and firmly pull it backward along its mounting rod. On the vast majority of cars, the entire visor slides on that rod to cover that awkward gap near the B-pillar. If it does not slide, look for a secondary plastic panel hidden inside the visor itself that pulls out like a drawer to extend the blocking area. Automakers know the sun moves, so they built an adjustable shade, but they just assume you will figure it out on your own. Let us talk about your seating position. I see so many people driving with their arms completely locked out, stretching to reach the wheel, or sitting so close their chest is practically resting on the horn pad. This is a massive safety issue if the airbag ever deploys in a crash. Look directly under your steering column. There is a heavy plastic or metal lever. Pull it down firmly. You can now adjust the steering wheel not just up and down, but you can pull it in towards you or push it away. This telescopic feature allows you to set the perfect driving geometry. Your arms should have a comfortable bend, and you should be able to clearly see all your gauges without straining. Once you find that perfect sweet spot, push the lever back up to lock it into place. It takes 5 seconds and completely changes how the vehicle handles and feels on a long road trip. Here is a feature that feels like an absolute cheat code, and it applies to almost any modern car equipped with an electronic parking brake. You know the little switch you pull up on the center console to set the brake when you park. Have you ever wondered what happens if your main hydraulic brakes fail while you are driving down the highway at 60 miles per hour? If you pull and hold that electronic parking brake switch while the vehicle is in motion, the car's central computer will engage an emergency stop protocol, will safely and aggressively apply the brakes to all 4 wheels using the anti-lock braking system to bring you to a controlled stop without locking up the tires and sending you into a dangerous spin. You have to hold the switch continuously for it to work. It is an emergency failsafe that nobody ever talks about, but if a brake line ever blows out, knowing to grab that little switch can literally save your life. Have you ever walked all the way across a massive parking lot, only to suddenly freeze and wonder if you locked your doors? You end up doing the awkward turnaround, squeezing the key fob in your pocket, hoping you hear the horn honk from a distance. Well, you might be stressing over absolutely nothing. Dive into your vehicle's settings menu on the center screen and look for a feature usually called Walkaway Auto Lock. When enabled, The car uses the proximity sensors in the key fob. Once you close the doors and walk about 10 feet away from the vehicle, the car automatically locks itself and gives you a confirming beep or flashes the exterior lights. You just get out and walk away. It is one of those features that, once you turn it on, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. If you constantly complain about your car being cluttered with gear, you might just be missing the secret storage areas the interior designers hid around the cabin. Automakers love maximizing space, but they do not always put a giant label on it. For example, check under the front passenger seat. Many vehicles have a discreet plastic tray that slides out, perfect for storing a first aid kit or valuable electronics completely out of sight. Other cars have secret compartments underneath the floor mats in the rear passenger footwells, or hidden cubbies behind the rear center armrests. Spend 10 minutes poking around your interior, lifting panels and pulling tabs. You will likely find a massive amount of storage space that keeps your gear totally hidden from anyone looking through the windows. Finally, let us solve the mystery of your radio getting louder and quieter entirely on its own. You hit the highway, the wind noise picks up, and suddenly your music seems perfectly loud. You exit the highway and stop at a red light, and the volume drops down to a reasonable level automatically. You are not going crazy. This is a feature called speed-sensitive volume control. The car uses wheel speed sensors and sometimes hidden cabin microphones to measure the ambient road noise, and it smoothly adjusts the audio amplifier to compensate. It keeps your audio experience perfectly balanced without you ever having to take your hands off the steering wheel to touch the volume knob. If your car does this too aggressively or you want to turn it on, look through your main audio settings menu. It is an incredible piece of acoustic engineering working silently in the background of your daily commute. Your car is way smarter than you probably give it credit for, but it only works if you know how to use the tools it provides. Stop fighting with the machine and start taking advantage of the brilliant engineering you already paid for. If you found these hidden tips helpful and want to learn more ways to outsmart your vehicle and avoid unnecessary mechanic bills, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Keep exploring your ride, stay safe out on the road, and I will catch you in the next one.